Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Edens, a finance coach, author, and wealth mindset researcher, and I'm so happy you chose to join me here today for part 2 of spooky money mistakes in the spirit of Halloween, which is coming up this week. So let's get right into some haunting money mistakes that you can make and how we can also avoid these as well. And let me know in the comments if any of these sound familiar. I know I've made a number of these myself, and why learn the hard way? Learn from my mistakes, and then you can save yourself a lot of trouble later. So let's get right into it. So number 1 is making emotional financial decisions. So this is very, very, very important to pay attention to, especially if you are an investor. I would say this is what gets most beginning investors, is that they'll get into the stock market, they will buy some stuff and kind of get a feel for how it all works, and then they'll start to see headlines about recession, or they'll start to see headlines about a stock market crash, and they'll pull all their money back out. And this is very common behavior. We all have a lot of risk aversion. We have a fear of loss that's kind of baked into us genetically. And so it's really important to realize that we do this, and that when we make emotional decisions around money, it does us zero favors. So if you're a new investor and you are struggling with this, or you've done this in the past, I would really recommend that you reach out to an investment advisor who can help talk you through kind of the strategies you need to apply and the mindset you need to apply to be a successful investor. Or if you don't have money to hire someone right now, there are so many successful investors all over YouTube who are sharing their secrets and their hacks with the rest of us. I know I've learned a lot from watching different channels on investing, especially Money with Maggie. I will link to her in the description. She has a wonderful online course that's actually what got me started on investing and gave me the confidence to become an investor. So I will link to that as well. And when she opens that course enrollment next time, she will definitely be putting that on her YouTube and on her Instagram. But it's a really great course if you're looking for just kind of a beginner's guide to how to get started and overcome any hesitancy that you might have. Because, investing is really, you can lose money as well as make money with investing. So it's a lot about mindset, and then it's a lot about skills of exactly how to do it. So those investment advisors can really help you with that. But that's one area. Obviously, any other area in your life, making kind of a rash, emotional, financial decision can also be very expensive down the road. I'm sure you can think of more than just around investing. Number 2 is not regularly reviewing your financial statements. So this could be your credit card statements. This could be your mortgage payments if you are a homeowner. Oh my goodness, I have such a scary story about mortgages. So this was during the pandemic, and our mortgage was owned by this company that we'd taken it out with. And right around the beginning of 2020, they actually sold our mortgage to another bank, which is very common. And I didn't know this. And so they literally sent me one letter that got misdelivered, one letter that they had sold my mortgage, and so I needed to start sending my payments to this new bank, right? So I was still sending all of my payments to the old bank. Thank goodness they were forwarding it to the new bank. But it's really, really important, especially if you're a homeowner, to check those mortgage statements each and every month and make sure your mortgage posted, for starters, make sure they got your money, and then also make sure they didn't sell your mortgage and didn't tell you, because I couldn't believe I didn't get any other follow-up other than just that one letter that went astray in the mail. So very scary there. Think about all the repercussions of having a lot of missed mortgage payments, and we don't want to go there. So very good to just kind of look that over at least once a month on all of your financial statements and just kind of keep track of things. And also log on to your bank accounts. I log on to my bank accounts a couple times a week and just take a quick once over and make sure everything's looking okay. Make sure there aren't any weird charges on my credit card that I wasn't aware of. Make sure that there aren't any of my checking accounts that the balance is getting too low on, so I'm not like ending up with having my overdraft protection kick in, but then having interest from that. It's just always have overdraft protection from your credit cards linked to your checking account. By the way, very important there. But it's really good to just be on top of things and just take that little bit of proactive time to go ahead and knock that out, and then you won't have any like scary stuff jumping out of the woodworks at you there. The third scary money mistake that you might be making is avoiding retirement planning. And oh my goodness, can I relate to this? So this is something that I am correcting as we speak. And one of the things that I think I ran into and why I didn't start planning and saving for retirement, investing for retirement sooner, was that retirement feels so far off when you're in your 20s. And so you think, oh, I'll save for retirement later. I'll start investing later. I will do that later. And if I've learned one thing so far in my life, it's that time goes so much faster than you're expecting. It is really wild. It doesn't feel like it's going very fast, and then all of a sudden, it's 10 years later. So really important to just, wherever you are at whatever age and stage you're watching this video, just start planning for retirement now. Start saving for retirement and investing for retirement now. And if you want a great channel that teaches you all about how to plan for retirement, check out my friend Kristoffer Fu's channel. I will link to it in the description as well as on screen. And he has a great retirement planning and wealth management company that he runs, so you can work with him directly. He's a great guy. And then you can also watch his YouTube channel completely for free. And he's got a podcast that I was on recently that I was so honored to be part of. And so he just has a lot of great tools and resources about how retirement planning works. And it's something that honestly, I think everyone should probably hire a professional to work with them at some point along their path when they're putting their plan together, because we're talking planning decades into the future with so much economic uncertainty and so many different things going on in the world today. And so it's really, really important, I think, in that case, to look at hiring a professional and not try to DIY your own retirement plan. Even if you just hire somebody initially to get you set up with kind of the basics, and then you just implement yourself year after year that way. And maybe check back in once a year with your retirement advisor, or twice a year, kind of whatever you can afford. But being able to have somebody help you, guide you on that pathway, so that by the time you hit your 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, you are in really good shape financially, and you've got more than enough money, and you're not worried about, am I going to run out of money in retirement? I think that that's a really big worry that's on a lot of people's minds right now, especially because the future of social health, social programs like Social Security, for example, is really in question in terms of whether or not the government will either have the money to continue to fund it or choose to continue to fund it. And so it's something that's really important to not depend on the government to take care of you in retirement. You really want to be proactive and make sure that you are putting that plan in place. So again, check out my friend Chris's YouTube channel for more on that, and just start now at whatever age you are, start to put that retirement plan together. The fourth scary money mistake that you might be making is not having adequate insurance. So I can speak to this one. I was working for USAA as my first job out of college, which is a big insurance company and a bank. And I was working property and casualty insurance. So or not property and casualty, I was working auto and property insurance. And so it was a really interesting job, because you would very often have people call in and they'd be talking through all their different insurance products, and we were trained to be able to look for holes in their policies and say, okay, I see you've got car insurance with us, but you don't have life insurance yet. Do you have it with another company? And if not, would you like to speak with one of our life insurance reps? So we were trained to really talk through all these different products, and it was really great for me personally, because that helped me know about all the different insurance products out there and all the, kind of the pros and cons of owning them. If you would like a video series on this, let me know in the comments, by the way, if you're interested in, if you have enough insurance, what kinds of insurance you should be buying. And I'm more than happy to make a series on that, but you have to let me know if you want it, because I'm not going to make it otherwise. So please let me know in the comments if you'd like a couple of videos on kind of how insurance works and what kind you need to have. But that's definitely something that can be very scary if you get in a situation where you're driving around, say, without adequate auto insurance and get in a car accident, or you don't have enough of these different other kinds of insurance like renter's insurance, or you don't have enough of homeowner's insurance, for example, to cover a big catastrophic loss to your home. So all of these different things just go into place, again, to provide you with that safety net, so that if the worst happens, you're covered. One of the things they trained us to say when we were working in insurance, and I was working in insurance, was, God forbid X, Y, Z things should happen, but we want to make sure you're covered. So you want to think about it for yourself that way of, God forbid this happens, but what if it did? And if it did, do I have the right insurance that kind of has my back in that situation? There's just so many different insurance products. There's products for valuable personal property, for like jewelry, electronics, things like that if they get lost or damaged. You've got something called umbrella insurance, which is exactly like it sounds. It's kind of a catch-all insurance product that just is a little bit of extra coverage beyond, say, your car insurance, your renter's insurance, your homeowner's insurance. If somebody sued you, for example, God forbid, if someone sued you, then you'd have some insurance coverage that way if it was a situation your insurance company covered. And so it's just really good to think through that. And if you have questions about this too, call up your insurance company and ask, because they're more than happy to educate you on this as well and give you quotes and premiums on different things. So insurance is one of those things that I hear a lot of people say, oh, it's just a waste of money, it's just throwing money away. But think of it as a safety net, and it'll change your perspective on whether or not you need it. And then number 5 is avoiding financial conversations with your partner. Oh my goodness, have you ever had this where you need to sit down and have a big thorny money discussion and you really don't want to because you know that your partner or spouse has a very different perspective on this topic than you do, and you just have this gut feeling that this is going to turn into a big marital spat? And it can be super awkward to talk about money with your spouse and your partner. It really can be. It's very challenging managing family finances without occasionally running into an argument or two. But avoiding talking about money with your partner or your spouse just because you don't want conflict with them can really just, lead to some stuff really piling up. So it's really good to just make it a practice to have a time at least once a month where you sit down with your spouse, your significant other, sit down together and, maybe go out to breakfast or sit down and, have some coffee or do something that's relaxing and nice and pleasant, have some cake, have some cookies, whatever. But just to have some time where you're sitting down doing something fun and relaxing, and then have that conversation about money and just talk through any budget issues that you've got going on, talk about if you're kind of on track for the different goals you have. And then also to remember, if talking about money leads to a fight every single time, there are therapists out there who will work with you. There are financial advisors who will work with you as a couple. Sometimes you'll find financial advisors who are also therapists who will work with you, and they will help you kind of navigate that, because money is a really difficult topic to tackle as a couple sometimes. And so if it's really causing that much trouble and you really need a third party to kind of come in and make it so that it's not a crisis every time, then definitely hire someone and outsource that conversation a little bit so that you both can kind of say what you need to say, but still have it feel like a safe, calm space for you. And then just get some input maybe from someone who's trained to both advise couples on finances and to help them resolve their differences. So that can be a good tool if it's just too hard for you to talk with your spouse, or literally every time it turns into a huge fight and it's destroying your relationship. Don't let it do that. It's just money. You can make more of it. It's, life is so much more than just about money. So really important to think about there. And then I've got a bonus point for you too. So my final one is falling victim to lifestyle inflation. This can get very spooky because as you make more money, it's really, really easy to just gradually keep spending more and more money because there's more stuff to spend on every time you turn around these days. And then cost of living is just really high. So it's easy to just maybe not inflate your lifestyle, but still be spending more than you used to. So it's really good too to keep that in mind, that as you get a pay raise or as you have more money coming in off your business or whatnot, that it's really important to not necessarily go out and spend it all on a new car or spend it all on a boat or an RV or a motorcycle or, what I mean, buy a bigger house, whatever the case may be. If you can afford to do that, fantastic, have fun. But If you can't afford to do that really while also saving and investing and keeping on track with your retirement goals, things like that, then it's really important to just make sure that as you have that extra income coming in, that it's working for you and not just putting you in a situation where you're constantly moving your spending up as your income goes up. And so you might never feel any more wealthy than you were before and never see any change in your savings amount that you have saved for a rainy day, or not see your portfolio growing. You're like, what's going on? I'm making so much more money than I was 5 years ago, but I'm not really feeling like I have a lot more money. And that could be a piece of it. Just look and see, are there areas of your lifestyle that you're spending more on than you were before? And if you need to kind of trim those back a little bit, if it's really starting to cut into kind of your financial big picture. So that is my spooky money mistakes for you today. Let me know in the comments if you have other ones that you've made that you want to share with our community here. And I will see you again soon in my next video.